Few images in gaming are as instantly recognizable as the bonfire in Dark Souls. That flickering flame is widely considered to be more than just a checkpoint. It's a symbol that threads the entire experience of Dark Souls together. On its most basic level, the bonfire is your lifeline. Every time you rest at one, you restore your health, repair your weapon durability, and, exclusive to the first game, you can level your character at a bonfire. In this way, it is both a quick reset, but the sometimes rarity of a bonfire can control the way that you play through an entire area. But this safety has a cost. Of course, enemies respawn every time you do rest. That duality refines the rhythm of the game. Safety and danger, relief and tension, and they're always tied together somehow. When you die within the franchise, you'll be pulled back to the last bonfire that you sat at. In this way, From Software builds progression not around saving your game in the traditional sense, but around carving footholds in this hostile world. Every new bonfire discovered is a small victory, a moment of genuine relief, like finally catching your breath after sprinting through danger. Then there's the role in the aforementioned character growth. You spend your souls at the bonfire in the first game exclusively to level up. This means every time you return, you're literally deciding who your character becomes. Are you going to become a nimble dexterity fighter, a spell sword, or resort to pure mage? Maybe you lean towards a hulking strength build, or maybe even a pyromancer. But if none of those work, there's about 10 billion other combinations that will work just as well. Whatever the choice, it is memorialized in the bonfire. Lore-wise, bonfires are not arbitrary game objects. They are kindled by fragments of the first flame tied directly to the overarching mythology of fire and the fading of light. Each one is both a literal survival tool and a narrative reminder. The flame is dying out, but may these tiny cinders keep you persevering. In Firelink Shrine and in Dark Souls 2 Majula, the bonfire is mothered by the Firekeeper. That title alone tells us that these bonfires aren't just convenient. A woman has to actively watch over them, nurture them. The bonfire becomes a place of ritual, almost sacred in its nature. It's not just where you rest, it's where you remember why you're fighting at all. However, the bonfire can go beyond single player. Bonfires are also the anchor points for Dark Souls' famously strange multiplayer. When you sit at a bonfire, you can reverse your hollowing with humanity, or effigies in Dark Souls 2, which will return you to your human form. And only in your human form can you summon other real-world players leaving behind summon signs to join your world. This further elevates the capability of the bonfire. It's now also a portal into connection via cooperation. It's where strangers from across the world come together, even if just for a fleeting boss fight. The bonfire is also the threshold for conflict through cooperation. Reverse your hollowing, and you open yourself to invasions from other players entering your world to hunt you down. That risk-reward balance means the bonfire's meaning heightens once again, now to a decision point. Do you want solitude and safety in your hollow form, or community, connection, and risk in your human form? This multiplayer design also turns the bonfire into a shared cultural landmark. Almost every player remembers their first time sitting at Firelink Shrine, or that first bonfire on Londo, and seeing the white spirits occasionally sitting there with you. Yet again, the stature of the bonfire goes further. They're now also gathering places, crossroads where thousands, hundreds of thousands of players have left their mark on other players, even just for a singular moment. Sometimes you see a white spirit that has the absurdly large Xanthias crown on, and you think, what an odd choice. Some, and most likely most, spirits are running around completely stark naked, a sign of a well-versed player. And then sometimes you come across a white spirit that is running around in perhaps worse fitting armor, and then you understand that they're probably new, and they don't understand that the armor they're running is better utilized on a different kind of build. Even the act of kindling a bonfire in the first game has multiplayer echoes. By using humanity, you can strengthen a bonfire, granting more Estus uses not only for yourself, but symbolically for all the rest there. As the Dark Souls Wikidot states, Whenever your last rested bonfire is kindled by another player online, you will automatically gain 1 Estus charge. The idea is subtle on the surface, but powerful underneath. Your sacrifice of humanity strengthens the flame for others. It's a hidden layer of community baked right into the mechanics. So, what does the bonfire mean beyond gameplay? At its core, the bonfire is a symbol of hope in Dark Souls. The game is suffocatingly bleak. The world is crumbling and despair is always one step away. But then, around a corner, a small mound of ash with an unassuming coiled sword sits waiting for you. It invites you to sit, to rest, and then to continue at your own pace. It's a symbol of community, even though you play solo. You are never truly alone, even in a game all about loneliness. The bonfire is the meeting place of countless invisible players, all circling the same rendition of the flame inside their own save files. And then, thematically, the bonfire ties into the greater cycle of Dark Souls. Fire and dark, light and fading. Just as the first flame is dwindling, each bonfire burns against the void in a possible protest. It's fragile, impermanent, but deeply meaningful. In that way, it mirrors human perseverance. Even when the world is collapsing, a single flame can push back against the dark, if only just for a while. That cyclical nature, the bonfire dying down just a bit when you leave, only to fully reignite when you return, reflects the endless cycles of Dark Souls' universe. The ages rise and fall, but the fire always returns in some form, no matter how long it takes. So when you sit down at a bonfire, you're participating in this ritual that sits at the core of Dark Souls. In single player, it's your lifeline, your safe room, your blacksmith and leveler, your reward, your checkpoint, or maybe just a chance to grow stronger. In multiplayer, it's a doorway to connection, cooperation both through assistance and opposition. And symbolically, it's the eternal ember of hope, community, and a distant form of rebirth that makes the game's bleak world just that bit more bearable. The bonfire is, in every sense, the beating heart of Dark Souls. And maybe that's why, years later, players still feel that wave of relief the moment the words appear on the screen. The bonfire is the promise that no matter how dark things get, there's always a fire waiting to guide you forward. I pose to you a question. What is the most memorable bonfire for you? I cannot control your thoughts, but I can certainly guarantee that you will have a favorite bonfire. Until next time, praise the sun, and we should all be leaving more summon signs.
Don't you dare let yourself go hollow, lest my time spent on you be wasted.